Well, using the other camera, the better one, the one the Bravo 4 or whatever the hell it was. The mic got turned off. The mic is right where the zoom is. So if you hold the camera and you touch it by the side and you don't hold it in to get the zoom, it shuts the mic off. And if you're not paying attention to it. Alright, so anyway, this is where we're at so far. Now, it's going to get painted, but at that point, the boys have a little bit of a shelter if they want to come out here and just lay out here, because they come out here regardless of it raining or snowing. And they'll come over here and lay. So I figured, you know what, at least this will help them a little bit. I had a couple pieces of this laying around. Well, hello there, Mr. Spider, and how are you today? I got another piece if I really need it, but I don't think I'm going to need it. Because I've only got maybe another 4 feet up there, and I don't foresee them going up there anyway. However, this is where we're at. So I ran a cross beam here. I ran another one about 5 feet up. These are screws that I used for this stuff, as well as the plastic, if that's what you want to call it, because they make this corrugated stuff in plastic as well, if that's what you want to call this stuff. Anyway, along the edge here, it's all bolted into the pressure treated 2x6, and then these are bolted from both sides, so we're all set with that. And they're bolted about every 18 inches down. Here, I seamed it over about 2.5 to 3 feet. Well, actually, yeah, about 2.5 to 3 feet. And then I ran a bead of tar down inside it. And then I just used some big old self-tappers. And I put them on the high side. I didn't put any on the low side. The reason for that, if I put them on the low side and one of us have to go underneath there, there's a chance of us hitting our head on it. So now with them on the high side, they're up in. They're not hanging down, if you know what I mean. I think you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. Where if I had it here, it'd be sticking down, and we'd worry about getting our head hit on it. But up there, it's kind of like out of the way. So that's what's going on there. And I just got tar on my hand. Okay. Now the screws that I use for here, the ones I told you about, are these here. They have little rubber washers on them, which help. And if you're using the plastic stuff, it'll also help keep it from cracking as quick as it would if you were to use a regular screw. Now it's still going to crack if you jam down on it, but for most part, it stops it from leaking, and just a normal tighten. I use the gun and it works fine. So that's where we're at with this. Now I have to get up there yet, and I have to get down in that corner yet. I got to drill some holes first because I am using the contractor screws. I could use some self-tappers. I do have them, but they cost a lot more money than these contractor screws, and you know, to drill a couple of holes, they're going to do the same thing. So, and most of it's wood anyway. It's only cutting through here. So I drill a small hole, and then I just put the 2-inch contractor screws through the top. I am going to, however, because there was a small change in plans here. Originally, I was going to take the 2x6 that's under there and lay it across the top this way, and it'll kind of cover some of that. But to get this to where I wanted it to fit and match the bottom, I needed that extra 1.5 inches so I can get this little overhang and everything. So I had to put it up flat this way instead of this way. So what I need to do now is get a piece of something and run it across the top so that it'll lip over a little bit. Now I do have a 2x8, but that's a little extreme. I can probably get away with a piece of pressure treated plywood, which I do have a piece in the back that I can probably rip at about 8 inches, and that would probably do it. I'm going to paint it anyway, so it's not that it's a big deal. And this is, I'm going to paint this as well. I'm just going to hose it down, let everything set up, and then I'll worry about painting it another day, or let the wife paint it. We'll see what happens. So I was gonna make it a little lower. My plan was to come down about another 6 inches, but if I had done that, I really didn't have any way of securing it as good as I wanted to. So I wanted to use this as well. So that's why it's where it is there. And then I had to bring this up a little bit more because I didn't want it so drastic, because the lower you go, the farther in it goes. So at that point, that's where we ended up. But that whole thing would have been great if it was down about another 6 inches. But then the wife says to me, wait a minute, I like it like that because I can put my lawn chair under there and sit in the shade too. Babe, just tell me if you want, I'll get a gazebo or something for you to sit in. I mean, come on. But anyway, that's where we're at. So I still have to go up here and do some drilling. So I'm going to start it right here. And nothing's going to stick. Well, that will stick, but that's not. Well, that may, if you want to see it, that is. Not like I'm doing anything. Maybe a couple of screws. Like this. Now where I angled everything in, because the cross supports are cut to fit on an angle, so there's a cut on the angle top and on the bottom, and so therefore when you're up there, I only had one way of screwing in, was either towing it in from the top or the two sides, so which I had done. But I also had the wife cut a piece of 1x, and we rested it underneath each one. It's an old piece of 1x, but it works, and it's resting under it, and that's screwed in, so that also helps with the support. Here, we were able to just screw in, so it's not a big deal. So, but anyway, sometimes you just get involved with all these little things. You need to think about it. You just start doing things, and then you start over-exaggerating. Sometimes overkill is just what it is. Now, okay, let's put a hole here. And that's another thing. This was driving me nuts today. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Whoop, that ain't gonna work there. How is it? Oh, okay. Come on over there. There it is. Okay. Every time I went to drill a hole, the drill was on reverse. Why is the drill keep going on reverse? This is crazy. I'm trying to drill a hole and I can't. Is that a hole? I didn't drill that, so I don't know. Okay. So every time I try to drill it, the thing's going backwards. And at first I didn't realize it. Because it wasn't going backwards when I first did it. So therefore, I didn't touch the switch. So why was it going backwards? Well, why was because when I set the drill down on this stuff, this was pushing the switch the opposite direction. And here I am up there trying to drill, and the thing's going all over, and I'm stretching. I'm not in a comfortable position. I'm going nuts trying to get it done. I'm saying, what is the problem? Well, that's what the problem was.